Some things that have helped me stay strong more than 20 pounds on. For starters, I was ready. Just like any other addiction or negative processes that we're getting up to. I'm sick of being sick and tired, so goes the AA slogan. You have to be sick of being sick. You have to be ready. You can lead a horse to water all you want, you can't make him drink. I know that's a terrible quote, but I'm using it. Until you're ready, you're not going to change. The trouble with any addiction is that it's incredibly hard to change even if you want to. So being ready isn't all that's going to help you. Oftentimes we need outside help to help us, to help ourselves, even when we are truly ready. And oftentimes it comes with relapses and difficulties. But I was truly ready, and that was one of the big impetuses for me to be able to do what I've done in recovery. I was under the assumption that putting on weight was going to be a part of what I had to do for my particular type of eating disorder to recover. And so it was an expected thing. I didn't know how much. I didn't want to know how much. And I had to very gradually adjust, which is one thing that's nice, is that weight goes on gradually. It comes off even more gradually, but it goes on gradually, so you have time to adjust. What I've noticed with having an undereating issue and having body dysmorphia is that I can't tell that I've changed that much. And 20 plus pounds is no small feat. Let's ask any person who's trying to recover from an undereating disorder, a restrictive type issue, a weight gain fear. To put on 20 pounds is 20 plus pounds is significant. It's not small. Just the idea of it initially, if you would have told me that I would be putting on 20 plus pounds, I would have freaked out and I would have quit. So don't put a number on it. Expect that you will be gaining weight. Don't put a number on it because you don't know how much that's going to be before your body equalizes. Just do what you're supposed to do and let it do what it's supposed to do. Now, I say I don't look that different to myself, which is shocking, good and bad, because I'm 20 pounds bigger than I was. And yes, I see some differences. And yes, I see some differences that I don't like. However, they're the same areas of my body that I didn't like when I was 20 plus pounds smaller than I am now. I never was able to see how thin I actually was. That's part of the disorder, that's part of the sickness, that's part of why people keep getting thinner and thinner until they die. It's because their heart stops before they ever get thin enough. They don't realize. You just don't see it. And with body dysmorphia, I didn't see it. And so, yes, there are areas that I'm uncomfortable with. Yes, I can tell slight differences. But it amazes me how little difference I can see. I know I'm bigger logically, just like I knew logically I couldn't be big at the weight that I was at the size of clothes that I was at, because I see other people in those size of clothes or at that weight, and I think they looked ridiculously small, unhealthily small. But I would see myself, and I would see aspects of my body, and it always looked the same. I had the same shape, the same distortions at the size where other people looked unhealthily thin. I did not. And so my proportions are pretty much the same as they've ever been. And my distortions are pretty much the same as they've ever been. So the areas of my body that I dislike now, that I could notice are slightly larger. I'm not blind. They are slightly larger, but it appears slight. And 20 pounds is not slight. 20 pounds is significant. I should be very much noticeably in my head, very much noticeably bigger. But I was that severely underweight that it I just look normal. And I used to think that normal was a bad word. I don't think normal is a bad word anymore. Um, I still have my days when it's harder than others, but due to the body dysmorphic disorder, I'm not able to see the portions of my body that I have difficulties with any differently than I was when I was thinner. I thought maybe when I was healthy that my mind would be healthier and my vision would be healthier and I would be able to see and embrace my body, and I am more, or I wouldn't be taking care of it. I do love and care for my body, but as far as visually what I see, the areas that I am displeased with, I may be just slightly more displeased with because there's more of it to look at, and that's body dysmorphia is a perceptual disorder. So the more surface area there is to see, the more the problem is. If you believe you have an oversized giant Pinocchio nose, and that's your body dysmorphic disorder delusion, and you have a bigger nose, there's more surface area. If your nose grows, there's more surface area to look at, and so the distortion grows. So yes, I'm not entirely thrilled. I'm thrilled with my recovery. I'm not entirely thrilled with my body. Even though I'm thrilled that I this much extra weight compared to where I started, I don't notice very much change. I expected to be shocked by the change. I'm not. It seems tiny, which is a relief. The unhappy part is that I'm still displeased with the particular areas of my body. But I know logically, just as I knew that the people that were in my sick size had to be thin and I couldn't see it, were too thin and I couldn't see it in myself, that the things that I'm seeing are not due to reality. They're due to my body dysmorphic disorder, the delusion of the big nose. That's not one that I have. I won't get into the ones that I have, but I think I did in a long time ago video. But remembering that I was unable to see what I actually looked like when I was looking significantly different, weighing significantly less, unhealthily weighing an unhealthy level. And my perception of myself hasn't changed dramatically. That it's psychological, because if I were to see someone with the same weight, the same clothing size, the same body proportion, I would probably think fine of them. But when I look at myself, I don't see reality. And that's just something I have to accept. But I have a hugely supportive partner who's acknowledged the same, that he really can't tell much of a difference in me. And that's been really helpful. To check my reality against his. I'm proud of myself. I did it slowly and gradually. I'm proud of myself for where I'm at. I'm still fearful of going farther, but as I've done so far, I'm not going to do anything besides what feels natural to my appetite, and just let it be what it will be, and continue to grow in trust in my body and just see what happens. And I'm hoping that in enough time, when I've healed my previous behaviors, previous issues, that somehow I can work on the body dysmorphic disorder aspect of things, that there is a cure. I don't know if there's a cure for delusions, but I don't mind where I'm at. And if you would have told me in the beginning 20 pounds more than when I started, that I was going to gain 20 pounds, I would have been freaked out and I would have quit. And it needs to be taken in small portions. I need to see what happens. And I'm comfortable where I'm at. I don't mind where I'm at, and I don't think I look that different. And outside observers say they don't think that I look that different. And I've had people tell me I still need to put on more weight. And it's just amazing how small a change is compared to what you think it's going to be. And what prevents me from doing anything negatively at this point is knowing full well anything that I'm dissatisfied with now is due to a psychiatric condition, and I'm no more dissatisfied with it now than I was when I was scary skinny and unhealthy. And I would much rather be a little dissatisfied and healthy than extremely ill and have my life revolve around an eating disorder and still be just as unhappy. I'm no more unhappy now than I was then. And so when you get far along in recovery and you find yourself fantasizing about when you were thin, when you were indulging, when you were, you get far along in a thing and it becomes second nature, and you begin to fantasize about the release of a binge or purge, or anxiety reduction through restriction, or your body in general, how it used to be. Keep in mind that that's a fantasy. Just like when we have a terrible partner, a horrible relationship, and then we break up, and then we remember them later. All we remember is the fun, wonderful aspects of them. Or if somebody passes away, even if they were just a terror, all that's forgiven and washed away with the distance of time, and all we remember are the fond things. That's the way this works, that if you find yourself at all still dissatisfied or uncomfortable with yourself, that comes from within. It comes from the core of what started the disorder to begin with, is self-hatred and self-loathing and lack of control and all the things that you need to deal with. And eating and body image and those things, contorting those things will never solve those problems. Those problems have another solution, and you need to address those initial problems. And changing your body, your weight, your dieting, your food, those manipulating that never solved the problem. And when you're thinking back about this fun time, remember that's bullshit. It wasn't a fun time, it was a horrific time. And you're much better off where you are. Your life is much better off where it is. And you're no more unhappy with your body image than you were then. Preferably, you're more happy. And in time, you'll become more happy with your body image, or any hang-ups that you still have about yourself. But those hang-ups aren't coming from what you look like, because you've never been able to accurately tell what you look like. Even if you don't have BDD, you've never been an accurate assessment of your body. So that's not the source of your problems. You need to find the source of your problems and begin to address those, and you'll begin to fall in love with your body more and more. So yeah, that's my video. I had more of a topic and I kind of lost track. Love you guys. Good morning. Goodbye.